Today we're going to study about Tiberias or Lake of Tiberias. What's so special about this Tiberias? What insights can we glean from this place? Author Dave Brannon of the Lands of the Bible Today writes the biblical town of Rakkath, established around 1200 BC, eventually became present-day Tiberias, a city on the western shore of Sea of Galilee, established around AD 20. Tiberias was named in honor of the second emperor of Roman Empire, Tiberius. Joshua 19. The fortified cities were Ziddim, Zer, Hammath, Rakkath, and Chinnereth. So that Rakkath in Joshua 19 was fortified for walled city in the territory populated by Naphtali tribe of Israel. John 6 verse 1, after these things Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, or the Sea of Tiberias. Other small boats came from Tiberias near the place where they ate the bread after the Lord has given them thanks. In this passage, the Apostle John tells us that followers of Jesus Christ hired boats from Tiberias to make the trip to the east side of Galilee, the Sea of Galilee, in search of Jesus. Not finding him there, the people took the boats to Capernaum and they found him there. Notice that Tiberias, the Hebrew word is Teverya. It is a city or a town northeast of Israel, located on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee in Lower Galilee. 689 feet below the sea level. It is one of the lowest lying towns in the world, according to Britannica Encyclopedia. Notice that in the map, in New Testament times, the Sea of Galilee was an important commercial area surrounded by the city of Capernaum, Chorazin, Bethsaida, Magdala, and Tiberias. It's a semi-tropical climate combined with sulfur springs in Tiberias made the Sea of Galilee a popular health resort destination for sick people. Being the only significant freshwater lake or tubig tabang in the region, the Sea of Galilee supported a flourishing fishing industry. And during the archaeological excavations of 1975 to 76, the southern gate of Tiberias city, built by Agrippa II, and a network of sewerage and drainage pipes built in traditional Roman fashions were uncovered. And in 2004, Tiberias has 39,900 population. Did you know that Tiberias was founded by Herod Antipas, who ruled from 4 BCE to 39 CE, the Tetrarch of Galilee under the Romans in 18 BC, and named for the reigning emperor Tiberius. So Tiberias, named after the reigning Roman emperor Tiberius. Some traditions hold that it is built on the site of the biblical Rakkath mentioned in our particular verse in Joshua 19. Did you know that after the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans in AD 70, Tiberias became a center of Jewish learning and later the seat of the Sanhedrin and the rabbinical schools, so that the Talmud was edited in Tiberias around 3rd to 6th centuries. Historic sites include the tomb of the great Jewish scholar Moses Maimonides. And along with Hebron, Jerusalem, and Zephath, Tiberias is one of the four holy cities of Judaism. Tiberias, established in 20th century, it was It was named in honor of Emperor Tiberius, as I alluded a while ago. Tiberius has been venerated in Judaism since the middle of the second century. In the second and 10th centuries, Tiberias was the largest Jewish city in Galilee and a political and religious hub of the Jews of Palestine. Tiberias has historically been known for its hot springs. Wow, a lot of hot springs in Tiberias, which they believe to cure skin and other ailments for thousands of years. And the picture in your screen shows an aerial view of the present Tiberias city. Today, the lake's water irrigate the surrounding agricultural region. Modern health resorts have grown up, and the baths at Tiberias are among the Israel's winter resort attraction. That is according to Dave Brannon of the Lands of the Bible today. And according to him, there are things to see in Tiberias. This Tel Rakkath, which is a mound just west of the Sea of Galilee, adjacent to the road that goes along the sea. It can be climbed by visitors, but there's no archaeological excavating going on currently. The Sea of Galilee, as we have discussed before, is fed primarily by the river Jordan or Jordan River, and other streams and wadis or seasonal watercourses flow into the lake from the hills of Galilee. So the fish life of the Sea of Galilee has an affinity with that of the East African lakes. So that fish species, if you like fishing, these are the fish that you can find in Tiberias: damselfish, scaleless blennies, catfish, mouth breathers, and barbels. Now, another things to see in Tiberias is these places, the St. Peter's restaurant. While this is not specifically related anything to the biblical and archaeological sense, diners, visitors do get to imagine the first century eating. And author Dave Brandon says you can order the St. Peter's fish, which you can see in your screen, and imagine Jesus and his disciples eating this fish on the shore at the breakfast Jesus served, or imagine being one of the 5,000 fed by Jesus from the fish in the boys' lunch. But definitely they don't have French fries or sweet potato as presented on the in your screen. So the modern Hebrew name for the Sea of Galilee is Yam Chinnereth, or in the Old Testament, Chinnereth. Today, the area is primary tourist site for the state of Israel and supports the commercial fishing industry. The Sea of Galilee is also known the main source of drinking water for the nation Israel. Did you know that Galilee is divided into two sections, the Upper Galilee and the Lower Galilee, with a deep valley running between? So the Upper Galilee climbs to the heights more than 3,000 feet above sea level, while the Lower Galilee contains broad valleys with rich soil well suited to agriculture and farming. Upper Galilee is sometimes referred to as Galilee of the Gentiles, according to Matthew chapter 4, probably because it hosted various non-Jewish inhabitants, including Phoenicians, Syrians, Sidonians. Galileans had a distinctive dialect readily discerned by the Judeans. Remember, servant girl recognized Peter for his dialect. Aren't you one of the Galileans? Abundant streams flow from the northern highlands to supply the well-watered fertile terrain of the lower Galilee, making it ideal setting for densely populated settlements. And didn't you know that the Sea of Galilee is in Lower Galilee as only substantial fresh water in the region? Freshwater lake in the region. The Sea of Galilee added flourishing fishing industry to the region's other lucrative commercial activities, including the exportation of olives and grains. Did you know that the gospel narratives are also set in the Lower Galilee, with several major roadways of the Roman Empire crossing through the Galilee? The land provided Jesus and his disciples with a strategic initial mission field to launch the gospel message into the world. Now, in closing, let's learn some significant events that happened around the Sea of Galilee, not necessarily in Tiberias, right? So, number one, Jesus called Peter and his brother Andrew to be his disciples. It happened around the Sea of Galilee, Matthew chapter 4. One of my favorite, Jesus walked on the surface of the Sea of Galilee and then invited Peter to come to him. Imagine if you are on that boat and then Jesus invited you, come. Matthew chapter 14. And then another favorite, Jesus calmed the violent storm as recorded in Matthew 8. Natutulog si Jesus, then ginising dahil may violent storm. Of course, that is our natural propensity and tendency to do that. And because of that, the disciples were scolded. But as it is, Jesus calmed the storm. Who is this that even the waves and the storm obeys him? Number four, Jesus taught by or around the Sea of Galilee, Mark chapter 3. Jesus fed the 4,000 near the Sea of Galilee, Matthew 15. And Jesus appeared to some of his disciples by the Sea of Galilee, John 21. And Jesus healed all kinds of sickness and diseases around that area. So those were just some of the significant events that happened around the Sea of Galilee. Now, because of time, we cannot look at each of these events. I just chose three, okay? Due to geological features on either side of Sea of Galilee, sudden and severe storms occur regularly on its waters because of its geological features. Jesus may have specifically targeted the Sea of Galilee area to minister, to preach and teach, and perform miraculous healings according to Matthew 9 and Mark chapter 3. Why do you think is that? Because significant numbers of people in his time sought out Sea of Galilee's restorative climate, and medicinal hot springs in the nearby Tiberias. So again, bakit pinili ng Panginoon of Sea of Galilee to minister, preach, and teach and perform many of his miraculous teaching, especially in Capernaum? Because many people sought the Sea of Galilee's restorative climate and medicinal hot springs. So let's look at just one. Jesus calmed the storm, the violent storm. If we're going to take that physical narrative, you and I normally think peace is found when the waves of life are calm. But Jesus never promised us a smooth sailing. He promised us a safe landing. Instead, Jesus promised to always be with us. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I will always be with you. It has been said that peace is not the absence of trouble, it's not the absence of problems, but peace is rather found in the, and not only people believe that peace is found in the accumulation of wealth, being famous, having a lot of possessions. But no, true peace is found in the presence of Jesus Christ, even in the middle of the storms of life. So, where can we find true peace? In the person of Jesus Christ. What about the events that Jesus walked on the surface of Sea of Galilee? And then Jesus invited Peter to leave the boat and come toward him, which Peter does and walks on water. And Peter's experience of walking on the water teaches us that even in the middle of the storms of life, we can have peace. As long as we focus our eyes on Jesus, we fix our eyes on Jesus, and we keep our eyes on Jesus. We know from the narrative, while Peter was focusing his eyes on Jesus, he was walking. But when he turned into the left or to the right and saw these huge waves, then he started to sink and says, "Help me." And Jesus took his hand. The storms of life gives us a good reason to be afraid. Yes. Remember that Jesus is bigger than the storms of life, than the waves of life, than the strong winds of life. So that in this, the insight is true faith requires stepping out of the boat of life and stepping out in faith in Jesus Christ. So that you and I, when we face uncertainties, we can always trust Jesus Christ. He will never leave us nor forsake us. Wherever we are right now in our life, we can trust Jesus. We all like comfort and safety in our life, but sometimes Jesus asked you and me to take the risk, to trust Him, to step out of the boat and step out in faith. Like the Apostle Peter, sometimes we step out of the boat, then we are overcome with fear, anxiety, and worries. Then we started to sink. But Jesus is right there to save us. He extended His powerful hand. Yes, you and I might stumble and fall, but we will not drown. We will not sink. Once we see God's faithfulness, God's mercy and grace, it enables us to trust Him more and to trust Him more so that we can step out of the boat and step in faith. Why? Because true faith is fixed on Jesus, because without Jesus, you and I will sink. Peter's walk on water was short lived because he took his eyes off Jesus. But Peter learned an important lesson that we must learn as well. The storms of life will quickly overtake us when we take our eyes off Jesus. What does it mean? Maybe we'll be bombarded with lots of problems and challenges in life, and then we resort to drinking, partying, and buying things and that. And then we forgot all about Jesus Christ. When we stop looking Jesus, we quickly sink. We drift away. We get overwhelmed by life storms and forget who is in control. With Jesus, we can walk on water. Imagine that. With Jesus, we can walk on water like Peter, as long as you and I will focus, will fix our eyes on Jesus. So, the summary: true peace is found in the presence of Jesus, even in the middle of the storms of life. True faith requires stepping out of the boat and stepping in faith. And then, finally, true faith is fixed on Jesus, because without Jesus, we will sink. I hope and pray that God's eternal and holy truth connects into your heart, soul, and mind, transforming your thoughts, your words, your character, your behavior, your actions. Similarly, that God's living truth through the Holy Spirit will deepen your faith, strengthen your relationship with Christ, and encourage you to reach out others for Christ. May God richly bless you. Thank you for tuning in. If this teaching encourages you, please share the QR code to your family, friends. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. As Jesus Christ says, I am the only way, the truth, and the life. No man can go to the Father except through me. And if you hold on to my teaching, you are truly my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.